friends. Linda Moon, great to see you today. Hello.
Hey, everyone.
Hello. When I hear a Linda Moon child in the background somewhere.
Yes, he's in class right now and singing along, apparently, to something. So that's going to be fun.
Well, thank you later for that soundtrack for this live video. What a joy. Well, hey, friends, if you are watching, thank you so much for hanging with us. If you are watching on the replay, thank you as well. It is great to have you with us. As you may or may not know, we are doing these videos every single month. We are calling them Grow Deep Dives. And what we're doing is we are just doing a deep dive into a couple of our resources from Grow Kids curriculum. If you are using the curriculum, think of this as kind of like your pro tips on how to use the curriculum to like its maximum efficiency. And if you're not using Grow Kids, that's okay. Think of this as just an opportunity to like steal whatever ideas you want. So there you go, a little creative inspiration for you. So today, what we're going to do is we are covering from volume 4 of Grow Kids. We are talking about our November series, which is called Breaking News. We're going to get into the details of that in just a second. We're also covering our discipleship activity, which is called Kindness Club. And that's something that people are going to be doing this winter season. And then we're also going to dip back into volume 3 because we know a lot of you are still using that. And we're going to briefly look at the series called Sing and the discipleship activity called, what is it called, Linda? I forget.
Give to Grow.
There you go. Give to Grow. So that's the plan. If you're watching, friends, please feel free to leave us some questions. If you want more information on something, if you want us to like stop and go back and, you know, give you more or give you less about a particular thing, feel free. Leave us some comments. We are here. We are reading all of the things you are saying. So here we go. Are you ready, Linda? Are you ready to do this deep dive?
Yes, let's do this.
Yes. All right, perfect. Me too. All right, the first thing we're going to look at, friends, is, like I said, our series from volume 4 of Grow Kids that is called Breaking News. Linda, I think you know I'm very excited about this one, but I would love for you to give us the quick little overview of what the series is all about. Go for it.
Oh, yes. Breaking News is really exciting. This series is so much fun because we are saying our prophets like Amos, Micah, Zephaniah, Ezekiel, Isaiah. They're like little news reporters for God. And I think it's a very interesting concept. And they're all delivering some breaking news to the people of Israel. So it's been really fun to look over. Our authors have been really great on both elementary and preschool side to come up with relevant activities and just telling the Bible story in really fun ways. And I think you guys are going to love it so much. Yeah, I love it so much.
Oh my goodness. When we were brainstorming this series, and I don't remember who came up with it, but at some point someone just said, you know, like kind of like the prophets are kind of like God's news anchors. And I was dead on the ground. I thought that was so funny. I loved it so much. And, you know, if you're like an Anchorman fan out there, friends, maybe this is a great little creative outlet for you to make some Anchorman related references that maybe only you would understand. That is totally okay. So we're super excited about this one. Actually, let me flip over to the programming guide really quick. Linda, do you want to highlight any of these really fun decoration ideas that our girl Kelly Gentry put together? Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh my gosh, our programming guide is so fun, you guys. You have to check it out and really use like pretty much everything that's there because it's so much fun. But the great news is if you're still online like I am, like this is the perfect series still online because, you know, you're in the newsroom, you're in the field, you're getting fancy with the green screen. Like there's just so many things you could do to make this like a breaking news segment as you teach each week. So again, I mean, Grow, once again, we're tapping into our prophetic vibes and we're bringing this really timely series for you guys. And I think you are going to just be just so jazzed to do this with your kids.
I love it. I love it. Linda, what are some of like the green screen type of pieces of technology that you're using? Is this like a Zoom background? How do you do the green screen?
Well, I think the Zoom background would just be the easiest way to go because not all of us are all that tech savvy. Like I know I'm not, but you know, I know a lot of you are because I've seen some really awesome videos that you guys are floating around. So, I mean, you guys can go all out and do like a full on weather report for one of the series. You can have the whole like, you know, like city skyline in the back. I mean, seriously, the sky's the limit with this one. So I really ask that you embrace it and just have fun doing it.
Yes. Amazing. So good. Okay. So let's do a quick little overview of this series. This is a 5-weeker because November this year is a 5-week month. So walk us through just each of these weeks really quick, Linda. What are we talking about?
Okay, great. So once again, we are talking about these prophets, Amos, Micah, Zephaniah, Ezekiel, and Isaiah. And some of them we call minor prophets, and I'm very hesitant to call them that because, they're minor because, they don't have as many pages, but they're all very important. And I think it's a really great way to introduce this to kids because it's not talked about a lot for kids. So for week 1, we're talking about Micah and how Micah was standing up for what was right. And this is a really great one for kids to look at and be like, okay, well, there are so many things going wrong, not just around ourselves, but in the world itself, and just what are the ways that we can practically choose what's right. I think that's a very important lesson for kids. Week 2, we're talking about Amos and what worship looks like. And I know we touched on it in Road Trip for, I think, week 2 or something, but we can go a little bit deeper because we're talking about how worship can be sincere. And especially now when worship is so scattered and some of us are still not, at church fully, we can still worship God sincerely, not just in the sanctuary, but in our lives as well. And then for week 3, we are going on to Zephaniah, and this is about just the trustworthiness of God and how when things all around us seem shaky and tough, that God can always be counted on. And week 4, we are going to Ezekiel, and we're talking about the analogy of lost sheep and how God guides us when we're lost, and a lot of fun activities related to that one. And then the last one, we're going to Isaiah, and we're setting it up for Advent and Christmas. So how Isaiah was talking about how regardless of how the people have been in the past, God will remain faithful, and we can be too. So. Lots of goodness here.
That is lots of goodness. And I really like that this series is happening because, in kids ministry, I think we all know we tend to lean toward the very story-based passages of scripture, which is super important because kids need to hear concrete stories in order to understand God's big story. Now, and because of that, sometimes the prophets get a little bit lost in the mix, right? Because there's not always a story associated with them. They're kind of doing these abstract ideas. So what we are really trying to do in this series is to give students, or to give kids kind of a little sampler of all of these different prophets throughout the Old Testament, and kind of giving a little bit of their life story. And that is the biblical story of each week. And then we're pairing each of those Old Testament prophets with a New Testament passage to just show how God's message has always been the same from the Old Testament all the way to the New Testament to today. So I think it is a super cool series. I loved seeing this one come together, Linda. It is just lovely. And do you remember what is the memory verse? I see it right here, but I don't remember which one it is offhand because I don't have every reference memorized yet.
Yes, I think it's 1 Corinthians chapter 16. Verse 13.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, wait, you know what? I don't even have to guess because it's right here. I forgot. Here we go. Be on your guard.
Do we have the resource?
We have the resource. I forgot we do this. Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. And how does that memory verse connect with this series, Linda? Why did we pick this one?
This was because each of the prophets are talking about just what to do anytime they're faced with dilemmas and when they're wavering in, having to make these decisions and choices based on the kinds of pressures they're getting from outside, that they can actually be on their guard and have a center and just know that this is right, and they can kind of have that discernment. And we feel like that's a lot of what the prophets have been saying, was telling people, hey, don't be swayed by these outside factors and stand your ground. And so we thought this is a very important message for kids to have today as well.
Awesome. So good. All right. Well, let's dive into the series. There are tons of activities, tons of object lessons, tons of really cool things that we give you to choose from in every week of Grow. But what we wanted to do in these videos is to maybe just highlight a couple of those things that either we wanted to give you some tips on how to use it, or we just wanted to highlight it because it's really awesome and we really hope that you do it. So Linda, let's start with week 1. This is where we're talking about when things go wrong. I can choose what's right. So what do you want to highlight for us this week? What should we be paying attention to?
Oh my goodness, going through these series and like trying to figure out which ones to highlight was really tough. Like I'm telling you, there's so much fun here, and Carly did such a wonderful job putting these together. So like I'm not giving you guys like my favorites because that would be like having a favorite child. Right. So these are just some fun things that we want to point out, just some extra fun tips and such. And so right off the bat, the activity is called Hilarious Headlines or Making the News. They're very similar, but with very different kind of outcomes. But for either of those, if you wanted to take it even further, what you could do is you can divide the group, like half the group to be journalists and half the group to be photographers. And so the journalists will come up with fun, random, silly headlines. And then the photographers will draw pictures of some random event. And then they can just have fun trying to like mix and match, because the activities are kind of geared towards making up headlines and coming up with wacky stories. But having that random factor and trying to figure out what headline would match this picture, I think would just be a riot for kids. So that would be one way to jazz that activity up.
That's awesome. I am such a sucker for any kind of like drawing game. I just think they are so fun. And I love that because, you know, people are bad drawers, especially kids. And I just find that endlessly entertaining.
Right. And you pair that with the right headline. That would just be so fun. And post it up on social media. I think that'd be hilarious.
Yes. And also, if you're doing activities from Grow, we want to see your pictures. You can tag us like on Instagram or wherever you are. We want to see it because we might repost it because we're always looking to see, you know, what kind of fun stuff you guys are up to. So let us see what you're doing.
Yes. We're serious. Please tell us what you're doing. We love it. We love it all.
All right. What's up next, Linda?
Well, and another thing for, well, not really unique to this week, every week, our authors, we have created like a Bible story skit for each week because we know that teaching about the prophets, like Elle was mentioning, could be a little difficult for kids. So we have this skit where, well, since it's like a newsroom theme, we're actually interviewing one of the prophets. And it's really fun because then we get to hear a little bit about their background and then a little bit about like what their message is and what message that did God have for you that you had to share with the people. So it's really great because it's a very, it's entertaining because it's not just you saying, well, there was this man and yada, yada, but it actually has like this interactive factor. And if you have like, you know, preteens that really love to act and stuff, you could recruit them to be a part of that. And also every week there is a response section where there's like a music that you can kind of reflect on. And I suggest that you use that kind of as like your transition between large group and small group to kind of have them kind of reflect on what they just learned and kind of have it their like traveling music to their next module. So that'd be really great.
Nice. Beautiful. Love it tons. Great. Anything else from week 1 you wanted to point out?
Well, those of you who are using Breaking News also for preschool, a really fun one also every week is their snack time. They're called sound bites, which are so cute. And what you could do during snack time is you can grab a microphone, real or fake, doesn't matter, and just go around to the preschool kids and just kind of interview them, like pretend you're on the field. And as they're eating their snacks, even if their mouths are full, just have them answer a few questions just to kind of get that feel and bring in the theme, even to something as a snack time. So that would be really fun to do.
That is so cute. I love that so much. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, Linda, we were talking a little bit about our coloring pages. So we provide coloring pages for every week of the curriculum. And we have some fun hacks that you can do if you're, especially for like, if you're doing online still. So one of the things that we often recommend in our online hacks document, which you get with each of these series, is that one way you can kind of take the coloring page online is to do like a coloring contest, and you can have kids and families submit their coloring pages and then you can choose a winner. So that's something that we can do. But we also were talking about how preteens don't always love coloring. They think they're like a little too cool for coloring. So we were just talking about maybe some ways that we could, get the preteens involved. Now, I worked with 5th and 6th graders when I was at my church. And so I do have one thought, Linda, but do you have a thought on how this could be preteen friendly?
Well, I want to hear your thought.
Okay.
So why don't you go first?
Well, here's what I think is just a general good rule of thumb for tweaking these things for preteens is like kind of making fun of the concept that like kids are doing. Like by making fun of it, you make it a little bit cooler for preteens. So one thing I would do is to still do a coloring contest, but like you're not allowed to use any crayons, markers, pencils, pens. You have to like just use something. It could be anything. You could say like, you can only use items in your fridge, and that's what you have to color with. So they're like smearing barbecue sauce in the lines or something like that. That's what I would do. And
I love that so much.
does that because I want to see the results of that. Also, I kind of want to play. So let me know if I can participate.
Yes, absolutely. And if you just saw the coloring pages, they're so cute. Like each week is like, each of the, we have like prophets in the background. I think there's one where they're on a helicopter in one week. It's so fun. So I think our lower elementary kids would really love coloring that. But yes, preteens, I have been informed that they're just not really into coloring. So I would totally take you up on that suggestion. Just like color with like, I don't know, like a cosmetic kit or, stuff in your fridge. Like, I think that'd be so fun to do.
Yeah.
Another option I would maybe explore is, since it's kind of like that newspapery theme, you can tell them they can only color with using shades of black or gray. I think that would be really fun to do. So it's kind of like a challenge. I think that's what makes it a little bit more preteen friendly. And then another thing would be, if you have like artists in your group, you can give like the storylines ahead of time and have them come up with their own. And then like the winner, everyone has to color a page, and that would be really fun too.
Ooh, I like it. These are, oh man.
These are great ideas.
That would be a group coloring contest for all of the kids actors in the group. That sounds fun.
Right? Adult coloring contest.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to week 2, Linda. Week 2, we're talking about how when I worship God, I can be sincere. This is the prophet Amos. Walk us through this one. What do we need to see?
This one is just so near and dear to my heart because, worship right now just looks so different, and we emphasize certain behaviors in worship, but we forget that worship is more holistic than that, and how sincerity is not just about singing loud and, clapping and doing motions, but it's actually reflected in your life. So this is a really good one for kids and even adults as well, I think. And so a couple of really great activities. There's one called the color word test, and it's like, I think it's a Stroop test for those of you who are familiar with that. It's like where they put a word on the screen. It's like the word red, but then the color of it is blue. And then the kids have to like say the word on the screen, not the color of the word. Did that make any sense? I'm confusing myself as well.
So hard.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
And yes, when you're shaking your head no, like that kind of thing. Is that the same kind of idea? Oh, it's
that's exactly what it is. So it's demonstrating kind of like this delayed effect and how it's hard to do the things you say. So I think it ties in very wonderfully. And Sunny Brown, I think she's done the special hacks for this series, and she has some really great tips in terms of people with visual impairments and such. But we could go even further, and maybe you can even eliminate the color aspect of it if that'll be hard for people to see or challenging for people to see. You can do the numbers one, where you have to have kids like call out the number that you're holding, like number of fingers you're holding up, as opposed to the number you say. So like, okay, repeat after me, and you'll be like 5, and so that kind of gives it the same. I was like, stop it. But it should have a similar effect. So that was one way you can modify that one.
That's really cool. Yeah. And friends, if you are not aware, in both our kids and student curriculum, we provide hacks for kids who have special needs for every single series. And they are so good. Like there's kind of a mixture. Some of them are kind of just educational, like teaching you about a variety of special needs. Others are very specific modifications, like the one that Linda just gave us. So make sure you're checking those out because they're great. Alrighty, so that is the first one. What else do we need to look at for week 2?
And there's an object lesson called 100%, which is very simple. Any object. I feel 70% of the object lessons in children's ministry have to do water and food coloring. And so this is another one, but it's really cute and it's really relevant. It's about how when you add food coloring to water, it kind of consumes the entire color of the water. And so like worship has to be more completely permeated in our lives. And I think you could also take that a little further and try doing that to like a bottle of oil or something to show like the kind of like the splotchy aspects of what happens when worship isn't a complete part of us. So that would be another way to take that a little further.
I like that. And friends, if your youth pastor is using Grow Students curriculum, your youth pastor also needs food coloring in the month of November. So get together, maybe share your food coloring. They need green food coloring. So you can have all the other colors, but just save green for your youth pastor. Okay, great.
There you go. Looking forward to later today.
Perfect. Love it. All right. What else we got for week 2?
And for preschool, we have an activity called Newspaper Heart. You may have seen it, but it's like you take 2 pieces of newspaper that's cut into shapes of heart, and you kind of like hole punch around the edges, and you kind of thread yarn, and then you kind of stuff it with newspaper or cotton, whatnot. But since newspaper is so flimsy, we would suggest that you maybe paint it first, so that it becomes a little stiffer, so that as kids are threading the yarn, they don't get frustrated as the paper starts to rip.
Awesome. Love it. That's good. We don't want frustrated preschoolers. Those can get scary.
No fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew, love it. Okay, beautiful. That's great. Amazing. And also, friends, if you're not familiar with Grow, just so you know, we do provide a complete elementary and preschool curriculum all in one. So you get them both, and they're all aligned, and it's wonderful and beautiful. Alrighty, let's look at week 3. What do we need to talk about for week 3? This is when we're talking about how when times are tough, I can count on God. This is Zephaniah. Walk us through this, Linda.
All right. So continuing on the same vein of, trusting in God when times look bleak, Zephaniah's message is, again, just so timely and appropriate for now. And so a couple of activities that I point out is there's one called the News Anchor Name Game. And it's such a fun game. I would even take it further and check out the preteen hack that's been provided by Stephen Bay, our preteen hacks writer for the series. And he suggests doing like an undercover reporter alias. So it was like very specific. It's like, you take the first letter of your name and come up with a different name, and then you reverse your last name like backwards. And that's like your new reporter name. And I think that'd be really fun to do and to call each other that for the rest of the day. And if you want, you can pull this one out, put it in week 1 so that they have to call each other by their undercover reporter names for the entire month. And that'd be really fun.
Ooh, I like that challenge. That is fun. Wow, that's a tricky memory game, but I'm into it. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for me because, my last name is Moon, so it'll just be Gnome. But like for people with longer last names, it'll be even more challenging.
Right. I don't even know what mine would be. I'm going to have to think about it. I don't think I'm good at this. I'm glad I'm not a freak.
Lebmac.
I'm going to practice. I'll be ready for the next deep dive. You can call me that. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. All right. Week 3. What else we got?
And we have this, I think it's a small group activity. I mean, it doesn't have to be small group, but we suggest it as a small group activity. It's called News Clips. And we have like the headline, When Times Are Tough, and we suggest that you cut out like newspaper or magazine clippings to find letters to write, I can count on God. So it emphasizes the big idea. But that might not be challenging enough for the preteens or just even like, 3rd, 4th graders maybe. And if you want to, you can have them draw a picture to fill that, when times are tough, like how they're counting God, or even older kids, you can have them write like a pseudo newspaper column to go with that. There are ways I feel that you can engage them more and make it a little bit more reflective for kids who are just a tiny bit older.
Yeah, that's great. I love a good reflection for the older kids. That's a good thing. Beautiful. All right, so that's week 3. Oh, this one's cute. Okay, this is so cute. Look at, he's got a little headset on.
Isn't it cute?
I love him. Amazing. Okay, so we're on to our last week this is a 5-weeker. So we're on week 4
it is.
Of breaking news. This time we're talking about how when I am lost, God guides me. This is Ezekiel. What do you want to point out this week, Linda?
For this one, we have, like we were talking about earlier, it's the imagery of the lost sheep, and we of course can't do that without a follow the leader game.
Right.
But it's been introduced really in a really fun way for this series, and to take it even further, you can do the preteen hack again, which has the added challenge of doing an action opposite of the command. And that's always fun for kids to try. I mean, they try to do the things opposite of you anyway. Like if you've ever talking to a group of kids, you're like, say it quietly. And there's always one kid who'll be like, "Blah." so, so this will be really fun to do your group. And then, yeah. The next one I would suggest would be for the response. There's one called Feeling Lost. And it's where kids get to kind of write about time they felt lost and they needed guidance. And there is a really good tip in there that I wanted to point out is for kids who are shy and kind of don't want everyone to see what they wrote, because you're supposed to write on a Post-it note and stick it up. Have them write on the sticky side so that when you post it up, you can only see the blank side. And I think it's a great way for kids to interact and not feel as exposed.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really great to do.
That's a really good idea. That is very smart. Wow. What a good brain you have, Linda.
Why, thank you. I don't think I came up with this by myself though, so I can't take all the credit.
Everyone who worked on this series has a good brain then. That's perfect.
They do.
Anything else for week 4?
Yes, for preschool, we have an activity called Send the Sheep Home, and it's one of those like races with the straw where you blow the cotton ball to the finish line. But, right now we're all very, social distancing and germ conscious. So I would suggest, just as even if you are meeting in person, these are good precautions to take. I would create like a maze, like an individualized maze on like a tray or a box. Make a little maze out of bendy straws and have them kind of do it by themselves, blow the cotton ball with the straw so that we're not just sending germs everywhere.
Very good plan. Yes. And also, I just want to say one thing that I'm always so impressed by with the kids ministry contributors and the whole process that you and Brooklyn go through, Linda, is that like all of these activities are so interesting and fun, but they're using such simple and cheap supplies, which is so important because who has a giant budget to spend on like crazy things? But man, cotton balls and straws, we can get those. That's amazing.
Yes. And so fun.
Yes.
So much fun will be had.
Oh, I want to let you mention the helicopter coloring page. Let's just show this one really quick. It's so adorable.
It's so cute, right?
Ezekiel confirms God's sheep will be rescued.
Yes, you have to check out those headlines. They're really fun.
I can't handle it. It's too cute. It hurts. Okay, week 5. This one is in fact the last week of breaking news. And here we are talking about how when I am lost, or no, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong page. Hold on. Backing up. Here we go. I can be faithful like God is faithful. And we're talking about Isaiah. And Linda, this is leading into December. So we're like getting into like Advent season. We're preparing for Christmas. And I think there's some hints at the coming of Jesus in this week. Is that right?
Yes. I mean, you would think like the most obvious passage would be the ones that actually prophesy about the Savior to come. But I think right now, since we are still in November, we're focusing more on like the readiness of our hearts and just kind of preparing for that for when the Savior does come. So it does lead in really great. And it kind of comes more along with the theme of Advent about being ready ourselves. So it's really great. And being faithful is a really good lesson to teach to kids. And so we have a few great activities for this one. There's an object lesson called Faithfulness Shirt. And Sunny noted a very good special needs hack for this one where kids might not be comfortable with like being in the same t-shirt, which is what the activity is to be in like a large t-shirt by themselves. Like 2 kids, I think, had to be in a t-shirt by themselves. And I think this is probably just, for now, it's just general good guidelines for kids not to be that close to one another. And she offered doing like having them hold it pool noodle or like hold either hand of a tote bag together. And we think those would be great substitutes for this activity if you are uncomfortable with that in your ministry setting.
Nice. That's great. And I just wanted to point out, Amanda left us a comment. She said they're assembling boxes and putting straws and cotton balls in the boxes for kids. And I think that's a great idea. That keeps things a little bit contained for that last activity we were talking about.
Yes, exactly.
Good job, Amanda.
These are what we need. We need your ideas.
Yes. Keep them coming. Yeah, we want them. We want them all. All right, love it. Faithfulness shirt plus the hacks. Love it. What else we got, Linda?
There's also one called a reflection piece called Highlight Reel. And this is just kind of like an additional tip. It's just to make like a whiteboard or like a poster, have each of the prophets' names up, because this is where we're reviewing all the prophets that they've learned, and just have kids call out things to remember about each lesson. And it's a very simple tip. I mean, it's not like groundbreaking, but it's a really great way of them to kind of see visually what it is that they have been talking about all month. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys can even come up with crazier and much more fun ways to do that. But we just wanted to put that out there.
That's great.
Yeah.
And in case you're not familiar, friends, we do color code everything inside of Grow. So you'll see all of these fun colors. They correspond to all different types of activities and segments that you can do. So like telling stories and showing videos, reading scripture, doing a response, a reflection time. So as one thing that we like to say to recommend to people is when you are kind of editing your lessons, because all of this is editable, you can remove things, you can add new modules, is to pay attention to these color schemes. Because if you're like, you know what? There's a lot of green every single week, tons of green, but not much blue. You can kind of start to see like, oh, maybe I should try different methods of teaching to reach out to kids who have different styles of learning. So hopefully on every week of Grow Kids, you'll see a nice balance of all sorts of fun colors because we like to keep it interesting, to keep everybody engaged. So that's what you're seeing if you're not familiar with Grow. All right, that's beautiful. Anything else on breaking news we need to talk about, Linda?
Yes, there's another activity called mini newspaper. I think this is also a small group activity. And just to kind of like jump on what Elle has been saying, I've seen a lot of comments in our Facebook groups about like, well, what do you do during the week? You know, we use Grow on Sundays. What do we do the week? Like, I personally have found it very, very easy to separate out things from that one curriculum for the week into 2 sessions. And I know a lot of churches are doing the same. So a lot of like the now what sections, like the reflections and responses, we do on Zoom together with the kids. So that's also a really good idea. So that's a reason to pay attention to the different modules.
Yeah, that's great.
But anyway, going back to mini newspaper.
Here we go.
I mean, it's not like, again, it's not like something earth shattering, but I actually printed it out because I like visual aids. So it's a really simple piece of paper and it just says breaking news, but you would fold it kind of like this so that this pops up on the top, kind of like a newspaper. And, you know, just really, if you want to, you can customize it even further and put boxes and lines for kids to like write. And so it looks like a mini newspaper and they can fill in the inside and outside. I just had to show you because sometimes when you look at something, even if it's simple, you're like, I don't get how do you fold this? So
yeah, it's
there you go.
Sometimes.
Visual aid.
That's so good. I wish you had actually drawn us some pictures on there, Linda, but you know, that's okay. That's okay. I give you a pass this time.
Thank you. So much grace.
You're welcome. Amazing. Well, friends, we are so excited for you to dive into this series. We are pumped about it. We think you're going to have so much fun. We want to see all your pictures and videos. So feel free to share those in the group or on Instagram, wherever you hang out. We probably hang out there too. So send them over. All right, so that is our first teaching series that we're going to look at. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to look at the discipleship activity for volume 4 of Grow Kids. And then we're going to circle back and talk about you volume 3 people, if you are still using volume 3. So let's head over to this discipleship activity. It is called Kindness Club by Cami King. Linda, tell us, what are we doing here to help kids learn how to use their gifts to serve others?
This is a really great design. I know, okay, I say this about everything, and so I know I sound biased, but this is a really great resource, you guys, because it's about using your gifts around the time when, the holiday seasons are approaching with Thanksgiving, Christmas. I mean, New Year's resolutions. There's like so many opportunities for kids to make the decision to use their gifts in more tangible ways. And this one is great because it's kind of like, for those of you guys who have like Awana or something, it's like a little mini club that they can join. And if you're doing this as a discipleship resource, it's not really an optional club. It's like you're all doing this, but just to give them membership, I feel gives them a little bit more ownership, just something a little bit extra special about it. So I would say my first tip for you guys running this resource would be just make it really special. Like, we provide membership card templates, like laminate those suckers, like give them little like lanyards and make it really special. Come up with some swag, it can be t-shirts, it can be wristbands, whatever. And there's also a little pledge on the back of the card, which I think is so cute.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me find that. Here we go. Let's see. Here we go. Here's the membership cards. Oh my
yes.
God. So cute. Okay, here's the back.
It looks like a real thing.
It does. All
They're
right.
gonna try to pay with that. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so the pledge says, I pledge that I will always do my best to be kind, to think of the needs of others, and to show God's love with the things I do and say. That's so cute. I love it so much.
Which is what we want from our kids anyway. So it's great.
That's so good. So that's your membership card. Let's see what else we have in here. What's this page, Linda?
So this is how the resource is structured. There's a newsletter. If you scroll up a little bit more, there is a Kindness Club newsletter, which is kind of like, we're letting people know this is what we're doing. And it's kind of like that initial brainstorming kind of document. So we ask, what do I have? Who do I love? How can I serve? And what can I do with my time, talents, and treasures? There's like a whole explanation on that. And so it gets people thinking, and then they will bring that to the meeting or club meeting. And then you can come up with the group a concrete action plan about how they're going to use all the things that they talked about to reach out to a person or a community member. And I think it'd be really great to actually get kids involved in the planning, which is what is unique about this discipleship activity, is that kids are a part of the planning stage instead of, hey guys, we're going to go do a neighborhood cleanup. And this is what it is. So this is really great. And then after you set up the action plan, because it comes with very concrete things about, what do I need to pull this off? And when do we need to do it? And then you can go do it. So this is really great.
Amazing. Yeah. And friends, there's a ton of different printables in here. There's also, we give you a little handout for your parents to let them know what's going on. And we also give you a handout for your volunteers to let them know what's going on as well. So make sure you take advantage of all of those fun printables. And if you're not using Grow, once again, feel free, steal this idea, make your own kindness club because you can do it. Love it. Okay. So we've covered breaking news. We've covered the Kindness Club, but we do still have some users from Volume 3 of Grow Kids who are still working on their Volume 3 resources. So we want to look at those really quick. And if you're not watching Grow, or if you're not using Grow, then these are just more bonus ideas for you. So hooray for you. And also, producer Josh just notified me that there is a fun comment. So I'm going to look at it. This is from Vinny. He says about breaking news that they're doing online weekly videos and making this month into an actual like news segment. And so one of the things they're doing is they're including a pastoral sighting,
I love that.
like a celebrity sighting, to get the pastoral team doing weird and fun things. And that makes me so happy because it is so easy for like our adult ministry teams to kind of not really be in the loop with what's going on in kids ministry. And this is a really fun way to get them involved. So that is a great idea, Vinny. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is.
Yes, I love that.
Love it.
Please steal it. Everybody steal that one.
Everyone. Beautiful. Okay, so your other option for November, if you are using Volume 3 of Grow Kids, is a series called Sing. And this one is, this is also by Cami King. Cami gets 2 shout outs today. Cami, you're awesome. So this is a series through the Psalms. It is all about worship. And this is also a 5-weeker. So, whichever volume you're in, you can use either one of these. So give us a quick little walkthrough, Linda, of this series.
Okay. V3 users, we love you. We do. We don't want you to feel like we don't love you. We love you so much. And this series is so special. Sing, I think, but when we were writing this, it was kind of around the time when Sing the movie was popular. And so like I would shamelessly like tie into that as much as possible. Like have a talent show, bring in like music experts in your community or even in your church to teach kids some music stuff or just do some fun music activities. I think it would be really great to just go out with this one.
Yeah.
Sing is about the Psalms, and I think this also, like the prophets, there's no concrete Bible story except maybe in week 5. And so I would, for those of you who are like, I can't teach just these abstract concepts, I would go ahead, take a little extra time and think of a Bible story that you can relate each of the Psalms to. Like, for example, the first week we're talking about being fearfully and wonderfully made, and we can talk about creation and how God created each and every one of us. And so you're not limited to just teaching it the way it's written. But I do feel that the way it's written is very special, and it's a great look into the Psalms and for kids to make this their prayer, like things for them to remember and draw on. So this is a really, really great series. It's really special.
And Linda, to your point too, friends, another thing you can do is to really highlight personal stories of your teachers, your teaching team, you and like any fellow pastors on your team. Like your personal stories could also be the illustration for these things. If you're like, man, I wish there was a Bible story that was just concrete. You can pair these biblical concepts with personal stories from your life or from families in your ministry that your kids would know and connect with. So feel free to do that. Lean into your own personal stories because those are good stories too. Yeah.
Yes. Please do. And these big ideas for Sing are just so great because they all follow this format of I am because, and it just gives these big ideas a little bit more of a personal touch because they're not just universal truths about God, like God is trustworthy, God can be trusted. It's like, I can trust God because. And so it's a really great way for kids to remember these big ideas. So week 1, we are talking about I am wonderful because God made me. And week 2, I feel like some, grown-ups need to say these out loud with me. We all need this affirmation right now.
Yes, look in the mirror and repeat after us.
Week 2 is I am safe because God watches over me. And that is Psalm 23. Oh, we have like birding imagery in both series. That's awesome.
Yes.
Week 3, we're going into Psalm 119, 101 through 105. The passage about your word is a lamp to my feet. So the big idea is I'm confident because God leads me. Week 4, we're talking about Psalm 32, about confession and forgiveness. I am forgiven because God loves me is our big idea. And the final week is when David is captured, and he reflects on that in the Psalm about I'm not afraid because God can be trusted. So I feel like these are really great things to remember for all of us.
I love it. And okay, Linda, I'm sure you've seen this. I've seen a bunch of these videos that are really popular right now. I've seen some TikToks and stuff of families who would teach their young kids kind of like their family affirmations. They have like things that they repeat, like before school. And I just thought how cute it would be to teach all of these big ideas to kids and have them repeat them as a little affirmation to start their day. That would make me so happy. If you did that, we want to see because we might just a little bit.
That would be a fun compilation to see of all the kids just saying these things. Oh my goodness, send us your videos.
Like that. Oh my gosh. And here I'm going to pull up the memory verse. So the memory verse for this month is, come let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. And look at Erica Mason. What a cutie. Friends, if you have not used Grow's free VBS, you need to. You will experience some wonderful custom music from Erica Mason. She is just a treat and a treasure. Beautiful. Anything else on Sing that you want to highlight?
Well, considering we were just in the memory verse, we have some really fun ideas on how to teach the memory verse each week. And we suggest, since the theme is Sing, Each week you can do a different singing activity. So for week 1, there's one called New Old Song. And you've done this before probably, is you take the memory verse and you set it to the tune of a song they know, like Baby Shark. And week 2, there's one At the Opera where they have to say the memory verse like in super operatic ways. And then week 3, we do a rap battle. Alan Wu, who was a writer for us in V3. Hi, Alan, if you're watching. He has these really fun videos of how he does rap battles with the kids. Like, it was pretty fun. And the kids actually like send in their videos. And it's a really great thing for kids because it doesn't really have to be like a real like Hamilton-esque rap. It can just sing it really fast. And it's really fun. Week 4, my personal favorite is Chipmunk Choir, because I don't know why, but I really wanted to be a chipmunk when I was little. So I would like practice their voices a lot. So this one would be really fun for them to, and don't make me do it. And then week 5 is making the band. And I think this draws a lot of inspiration from like Jimmy Fallon and the classroom instruments bit he does, but just have them say the memory verse or, sing along to one of the ways they've memorized it already while playing a bunch of different instruments. And that would be really fun.
That's so cute. I love all of those ideas. And yes, Alan Wu, we are just in awe of you and your creativity. Thank you for existing and sharing your wonderful gifts with the world. Amazing. So sing, we are pumped about it. Now let's, to kind of wrap up today, we're going to look at this last resource, which is called Give to Grow. And so we already looked at our volume 4 resource on the spiritual habit of helping kids use their gifts to serve. And so we always do this every single winter because the Christmas holidays are a great time to mobilize kids and families to start serving others in creative ways. So in volume 3, we did one called Give to Grow. Linda, tell us what we're doing here in this resource.
Well, Give to Grow is very similar to Kindness Club in terms of outcomes. We want kids to do outreach. We want them to do community service, just without the whole membership aspect. It's an open free for all. But I would say for both Kindness Club and Give to Grow, there are some really great ideas in there that you could explore. And unless, you probably have something different going on in your community. But I would say first, you can always, because right now it's a little up in the air about how much we can actually go out and do things in our community. So one great option would be getting together to make care packages for first responders, or maybe someone who in your community or in your church is maybe sick, can do something for them to make them feel loved. And also, if you wanted to be more like kind of make it like a challenge, like a Give to Grow challenge, you could make it so that it's not just one event you're doing this season, but kind of spread it out and do like, one a month or one every 2 weeks, and just to keep kids in that spirit of giving to grow. Mm-hmm. And I think that would be a really great way to tie in this entire quarter.
Love it. Love it tons. So in this resource, guys, we give you a bunch of different service project ideas. And then we also give you like the marketing resources you need. So a little flyer template, you can just slap whatever kind of text you need to on there. And you've got all the goodies that you need, hopefully, to make this awesome resource happen. And
I love that flyer.
I know. Isn't it cute?
It's very Anthropology-esque. I love it.
It is. It is. Shout out to Jules. I think she's watching. Jules, our master designer. She is just a wonder and a half. All right. Well, friends, that is what we have for you on this month's Grow Kids Deep Dive. We will be back next month to do this same thing with all of our December resources. So we're going to go through our Christmas series for volumes 3 and 4. And we're also going to look at a couple other bonus resources from inside of Grow. So there is a whole bunch to look at, a whole bunch of ideas that you can steal. And feel free in the comments, whether you're watching live or watching later, is tell us what you would find helpful in these videos each month. Whether you use Grow or not, we just want to give you all of the help, all of the tips, all of the ideas. So tell us what you like, what you want more of, and we are here to serve. So just tell us what you need, fam. We're here for you. Linda, any last words before we close this time together?
No, I am just really happy we get to do this every week, because most of the times, most of us are just behind the scenes, like just being your little curriculum elves. And it's really great to talk about it and just be so excited with you, because just to see this in action is just, it's fulfillment for all of us. So we're really excited. And we're not kidding when we say like, tag us in your photos. We want to see them.
Yeah, we really do, because they're so cute. we send them around in our Slack channels, and we just like cry a little bit because it's so cute. So show us all the things. We are your biggest fans, friends. Amazing. All right, Pales, we love you. We hope that your day today is so wonderful and that you get so many things accomplished and that you just enjoy ministry today, because ministry is nuts, but also it's very let us know if you need anything. I'm Elle. This is Linda. You can feel free to tag us anytime you want to, and our team is here for you. So let us know what you need. All right, friends. Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.